I know who you are, obviously. Mm-hmm. We're sitting in your showroom. But quickly for the people, who are you? Where are we? What do you do?
Okay, I am Emma de Crepigny. My business is the New Modernist, which is here. And what do I do? I try to sell a variety of different elements of design for interiors. One of the things I try and do is make things customizable. I do try to include some pieces that are a little bit, I wouldn't want to call it lower end. It's not lower end, it's just more affordable, let's say, price-wise. So there's a whole range for people. There's something for everybody. I just really believe in having a beautiful home. It's important to me. So
Yes, you do. And you have a beautiful showroom.
I have a beautiful showroom.
Yeah. So, you have a long history with design.
Yep.
You've been in this game for a while.
Right.
And so I would love to hear about kind of how you got started and maybe start with your schooling and then work up through South Africa, New York, all the things, and just touch each point.
Okay, well, the schooling's a bit complicated because I actually did the schooling like halfway through my career. But what I did is I moved to New York. I actually moved to New York to find anything in mid-century furniture because I fell in love with mid-century furniture at an auction I was doing when I was living in Cleveland, Ohio. So I moved to New York, just I'm going to go there, I'm going to find mid-century furniture, I'm going to work for somebody. So I was lucky because I found probably one of the biggest people in the game of mid-century design, a guy called Alan Moss, and he had a huge store full of beautiful objects, not just mid-century, like 20th century, it was 20th century design. So I spent 10 years working with him. And I learned so much because he just was a perfectionist. He would get the furniture, he would French polish things, he wanted it at a certain level that it was at. So I learned how that all worked and where he sourced. And I built up a library based on his library for the most part. And I really learned. And then at the end of that 10-year period, I decided to go and do my master's in 20th century design history. So I went to the Cooper Hewitt, which is one of the Smithsonian museums. It's a museum program, and it was combined with Parsons and the New School. And I did that for a few years. I just had a baby at the time, so I literally was working, had a newborn, and was doing my master's all at the same time. I don't even know how I got through. But then I moved to South Africa, to Cape Town, and what I did is I bought a building and I restored it, and I made the front of the building my first little showroom. So it was tiny, but it was a great start. And from there, I then went and got another showroom in the center of Cape Town, in a really great space that actually was probably the best of the period of where that was the best place I had. And then I decided to buy a factory and to make my own furniture, but I knew nothing about carpentry, so I literally bought a business with their staff, and they had a lacquer booth, which was the most important part, so I could make my own pieces. And then I also opened a upholstery business there. So we had upholstery, we made our own furniture, and we could restore other people's furniture. So between all of it, it went really well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was doing. So I was at the showroom and at the factory, and it was just kind of going between the two places. And then I decided to come back to America. So I moved to Portland.
Because you have dual citizenship.
I have dual citizenship.
You have citizenship here in the States.
And Europe.
Yes.
Well, not Europe anymore. England. It was Europe.
That when they were all connected.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
But not in South Africa. That was the thing. I didn't have a visa to stay any longer. So
yeah,
I can move to here.
Yeah. And now you're here in Portland.
Now I'm here in Portland.
Yeah. Do you feel like you fit in?
I do, yeah. And I'm finally feeling a bit more settled. It's been 3 years now. Actually, the 20th of March is our anniversary. I don't know what date it is today, but soon. Yeah, next week will be 3 years.
Oh my God. Okay. So now we're downstairs. We're in your showroom in Cargo. Tell me a little bit about how you have ended up with this space, and tell me a little bit about how you like to curate things and what your kind of like philosophy is. How do you position yourself within the design world, and what do you think is really important? I mean, I know you love things like color. Obviously, you love mid-century. You have a wealth of knowledge about design. But kind of what's your MO? What do you feel like is most important to you when you're curating a space, and how you've curated your personal space?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I've maybe not even consciously done is actually create an environment like a home. I've always done that with my showrooms. I want it to look like it might look like in your space. So you can kind of suggest to people subliminally that they bought this and this, they'd have this look. So that's what hence this recent edition of wallpaper and art and putting up sconces as if you were in your own room. And I've actually now decided that I probably should also offer interior design services, so I could actually go into someone's home and suggest things that they could do, and then work out from there what they actually have, what budget they might have and what they can do. Because I feel like I could do that, and I probably need that extra kind of a service offering for my business.
And you love people.
Yeah, I'm very social.
Yeah.
I actually prefer to be with people than on my own.
What's your star sign?
Libra.
I know that about you.
Yeah.
How would you define how you like to interact with clients? Like if you were gonna, if I was gonna be your client, what would you like prioritize in our interactions?
I think on an initial meeting, and what I try to do with anyone who walks in, is just trying to get a feel for what they're looking for. And from there, you can then move into, oh, I have this, or what's not here, I have in storage, or so you just kind of start getting an idea about what they like, what they want, and then you start building that kind of relationship with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're pretty empathetic, no?
Yeah.
I'm curious about what kind of inspires you and what's driven you to kind of continue with this, because you've been doing it now for so long. Why not something else? Like, why this?
Because I'm passionate about it. I really love it. And I really believe in it. And I've tried new things. I mean, I have evolved. I mean, the rugs are new to me. I didn't used to offer rugs. Doing my own, designing my own pillows. So it has changed, and that's kept it interesting for me.
Yeah.
But what was the question?
I guess why mid-century? Why this style?
Oh, I mean, I just think that what I like about the mid-century is it really is a good bridge between the antiques and very contemporary. I think people see the space and say I'm contemporary, but I don't think of myself as contemporary. I mean, there are some contemporary pieces, but a lot of it's old. It's not of the now. It's 50, at least 50 years old. What was I talking about? What was the question?
Okay, deep breath in.
No, I'm not nervous. I just keep forgetting.
No, I know. It's just to like clear your head.
Oh, okay.
The question is just like, why this?
Oh, why mid-century? That's what it was. I think that in the mid-century period, people used to do things really, really well. So if it's, say for furniture, it was just very well built. It was important that they used the right materials, that they bared no cost, that they just did it properly. And I think that's gone, for the most part. Furniture that's made today, it's all mostly about how much does it cost me and how to do it for as little as possible. In general, I mean, there's always going to be the higher tier things that are well made and cost, accordingly. But just in terms of mass production, it's just not made as well as it used to be. So I would say, buy an old sofa and reupholster it. You're going to have this sofa for way longer, and it's going to be much more of a, And you can buy a designer sofa and hold it and then sell it and make money on it. You can even be investing in your furniture while you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So that's just smart, right?
Yeah. I wonder too, when you are feeling drawn to a piece, what elements of something really pull you towards it?
I would say I'm really shape. The shape, the color, for sure. I think color's important to me. So it's the shape, it's the color, the materials. I mean, I really love specific materials, and that's what pulls me in. So, I mean, the whole gamut. It could be, the softness of a rug or the sheen of the light that comes off glass. I love glass, but even ceramic can have that kind of appeal.
Yeah.
The surface, like what comes through.
Yeah.
Not so much all the little bits and pieces. It's actually more of the essence, and that's very modernist thinking, because they really kind of believe that things should be as simple as possible, and it's more about the material than all the decoration. Yeah.
Do you feel like you kind of carry that same ideal, or would you?
Absolutely, which is why I call myself the new modernist, because it's taking modernist principles but bringing it into today's world.
Yeah.
That's the name. Yeah, that's where it comes from.
And how do you apply those older principles in a modern context?
Well, I don't know.
You don't have to know. I was just curious because
Yeah.
if that's the way that you're positioning yourself,
Yeah.
I just think that that's really interesting. Do you think that it's maybe just kind of a lost art?
Well, no. I mean, because it's always been about materials to some extent. I mean, so the 60s plastics came out, concrete I think was in the 30s. So it's always been about a new material coming out and then using it, right? So today there's all kinds of new materials all the time are being invented, and it's then again about using them. And natural materials. I mean, I think we're now in an age where people like to be working with sustainable. So, then you look at your marbles or your travertines or your, those kind of natural materials. With rugs, it's wool. I mean, I think we're just kind of returning to what's natural so that we can, feel good about what we're doing and not messing up the world as much as our predecessors. We can avoid it.
In kind of the vein of like the world and hope and things like that, what do you hope your showroom is like bringing to people?
I mean, I hope it does what it does for me. Just I find things that I find beautiful, just they elevate me. I just feel happy. It's like it lifts my soul. I don't know how else to put it. It's just that if I look at something that I think is really beautiful, there's something that it stirs in me, and I think our homes should do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Emma, that was really beautiful. I start crying.
Thank you. It's okay, Colson.
So, where do you kind of like, because obviously now you're doing so much more on social and we're working together on that,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where you're moving into. When you're thinking about kind of yourself and the way that you portray yourself, how do you hope people receive what you're putting out?
In terms of me?
Yeah, in terms of your media, like who are you? What do you hope that people see when they see you?
Well, I hope that they can sense there's a warmth and a welcoming aspect to me, and I think my interiors kind of reflect that. I feel like I'm in a little capsule. I'm in here, and I would like to embody all those qualities.
Yeah.
So people feel very comfortable and safe, and I don't scare them off as much as possible with my friendliness.
That is an issue that we run into.
I don't know why. I'm just friendly. I mean, it's not. I think people think it's a sales pitch, and often I'm just actually genuinely interested in who's coming in and who they are and what makes them tick.
Right, and I mean a lot of it too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the pieces in here are designer works.
Yeah,
so
they
they
are.
come with history. They come with a conversation.
Yes.
And I think sometimes you're so passionate about having those discussions.
Yeah.
And I think some people are like, I don't need to know the features of this product.
Yes, exactly. Or just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's unique to this particular place that people just kind of want to be left alone to browse.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how to navigate that.
Yeah.
But it's hard because obviously I do have things, I do have selling points, and I do want to engage, and
Yeah.
it is part of what I do this for.
Yeah. Thank you so much for telling me about yourself.
Thank
I mean,
you
I
for
already know so much about you.
Thank you for asking.
Yes, sweetie. We're going to play a little game now.
Okay.
I know. We're going to test your knowledge.
Ooh. Okay.
So we have some cards with some pieces on them.
Okay.
You're going to try and identify the piece and the designer.
Okay.
Okay.
That's It looks like Dunbar to me. It's confusing that it's on metal legs, so I'm thinking it's not 50s. I would say it's later. I don't know, maybe 70s? Not positive.
Okay, go ahead.
Eames chair, it's in leather, which it usually was. Bent plywood, which the Eameses pioneered. They kind of brought that to design. Yeah, I guess 50s. Unless that's a later one. No, I would say that's 50s.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That one was like that was my low hanging fruit for you. That was the easiest.
Oh.
Okay.
That is Paul Henningsen. It's Scandinavian. And that, when was Henningsen? A little late. I would say it's 60s or 70s. Oh, and that's the womb chair. The womb chair is by Herman Miller is the manufacturer, but I'm trying to think who the actual designer was. Saarinen. Eero Saarinen.
Period. Okay, wait.
That's the Eames chair. That's fiberglass, and that's their sort of standard base. That was molded plastic, which was also really innovative when they did it. I think that's 50s. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Batoya. It's an iron mesh chair, molded Harry Batoya. And then that one's got a seat cushion. They don't always have a seat cushion, but they still make those. But that's one of the originals, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's a beautiful chair. Sometimes they're white. Sometimes they kind of put a white film over the metal, and they turned out they have different colors.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's Noguchi. That table is Isamu Noguchi. It's wood with a glass top.
Yeah.
And he was a sculptor. There's a beautiful sculpture garden in New York, actually. The Noguchi Garden, if you,
we'll
you should
have to
go in
go.
Queens. Yeah, it's all his stuff. But he was a sculptor. That's really hard to say what that is. It could be lots of things.
This was like the hardest one, I thought.
Yeah. It looks like it's very hard for me to identify that. It could be so many different people. Rism? Jens Rism? No?
I don't know. Who is it?
I'm assuming it's George Nelson.
Oh, okay. George Nelson. That makes sense. So George Nelson means it's Herman Miller.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, that's the arc lamp. I actually forget who made that, but it's iconic. A lot of people have those now because they've been reproduced.
This.
That's also Henningsen. That's the artichoke. Okay.
I think you did pretty good. I think you literally identified like 90%. I think you only missed this one. And then the dresser, because that could have been.
That was hard.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. All right. That's it. That's the
I'm
segment.
authentic.
Yeah.
How about that?
You're legit. You know your items.
I'm not faking it.
No. Oh, thank God. That would have been awkward.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming
Colton.
on.
Yeah.